Hello, 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 everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in this house. Come on in. What's up to you? How's my audio? Can y'all hear me good? Let me know. Might be a little too loud. Let me see. How's everybody? Come on in, come on in. We give the Saints a few minutes to come on in the house. Come on in the house. How's everybody's Sunday going? Sorry about that difficulty starting off. I thought I had the music going good, but he's reverbing, so I gotta keep figuring it out. I didn't have any time this week to sit down and work on it. So we're gonna go ahead and do what we do it how we know how to do it. At least this part's up and running. Come on in, come on in. Slow and easy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We thank God for that. All right. Everybody saying they can hear me. We're gonna give everybody a few more minutes to come on in the room. We're gonna get started. This is gonna be a different kind of show. I know y'all used to me talking about Zaquavion and Dankanisha. I actually met a Dankanisha this week, believe it or not. It was a girl named Dankanisha. And I asked her how did she pronounce it because I was looking at her ID. And she said, Dankanisha. I was like, oh my Lord. She knew it was a mess. But what can you do? We don't name ourselves. Yeah, come on in, come on in. We're going to give the Saints just a few more minutes. We're going to get started. This is going to be a very personal, very emotional show today. I'm going to try not to get too emotional and get all wet faced and teary eyed. But I can't promise y'all anything. Looking back on things that you go through in life, and you see how you came out of it, you see who brought you out of it, and you can't help it sometimes but to get a little weepy. And ain't nothing wrong with a man crying every now and again. We're just gonna give everybody just a few more minutes. I know everybody was excited about this show. A lot of people kept asking me about it. Now, like I said, I wanted to talk about lace fronts and lashes and fuzzy slippers and all that kind of thing, but everybody wanted to know how did I get to my 1 year anniversary last week. Everybody wanted to know the steps, how it started, what all you go through, and so I figured this video would be more informational. It's a more personable content. It ain't just me up here talking crazy, and hopefully somebody gets something out of it. Uh, like I said, we're just gonna give maybe 2 more minutes. We're gonna get started because I'm hungry. I ain't ate nothing yet. I wanted to go ahead and do this before I pigged out. But yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be deep. Get your tissues ready. If any of my cousins are watching this, I know they're gonna be crying. So, and I'm sure there's gonna be some things said that my family, my closest friends, nobody knew. Uh, but we're gonna share it today. We're gonna open it up today. It's been hope everybody's had a good week also. But I've had a busy week, man. I felt like I worked 6 days in a row because all the stuff I had going on this week. Today is my first day to really just let my body relax and recover. Had a long day yesterday. They called me in early for work. Since we're staying open later, I'm going to bed later and I'm sleeping later. So when I had to get up and disrupt my pattern, and I'm just tired all day long. Try not to drink so many energy drinks because it's not good for my heart rate and stuff like that. So, but to no avail, we're going to go ahead and get started. So health is wealth. When you're young, you really you take for granted a lot of things in life, especially your health. As a young man, I went through different type of body styles. I've been huge, I've been small, I've been huge again. Weight has been an issue for me. I've always been kind of active though, at least athletically. Like I always loved playing basketball and stuff. And then when I started getting real sick, I had to, of course, cut out basketball because I just couldn't play anymore. At least not like I would like to. And this journey for me started. My kidney journey started actually in the summer of 2015. I had been really, really sick for about a week or so, maybe a little bit more. I wasn't eating at all. I didn't have any appetite. I remember having like cravings here and there, but nothing to like, I just got to eat, and I remember I had a friend, when it got to the most severe point, I had a friend, I told her, I said, man, I really want like some party meatballs. I don't know why I wanted some. That's just what I had to taste for. And she knew I had been, not feeling well. So she made some for me. And I remember I ate 2 of them. And my son ate the rest of them. But I ate 2 of them. And I felt like I had eaten like 3 Thanksgiving dinners. My stomach was really, really distended. And I knew it wasn't like fat. And I remember on the worst day, I was having really, really bad shortness of breath. Like I literally could not walk to the bathroom. Once I got to the bathroom, I was leaned over on the sink, doubled over on the sink, trying to catch my breath and try not to pee on myself at the same time. But I couldn't stand up to get enough oxygen in to pee properly. And I remember coming out the bathroom and then I would get to the bed and just literally just collapse because I would be just so exhausted and so out of breath. And I remember telling my son, I said, son, something is really wrong. And to be clear, I mean, there was warning signs. I was a stubborn man, still am. And when you're a man and you got kids and responsibilities, the only thing on your mind is to get up and work. And that's all I wanted to do is get up and work, take care of the kids. And, you kind of get into that rhythm and you don't, you feel your body's not feeling right. Something ain't quite right, but you steady more trying to, provide. That's your main primary function as a man. It's like, okay, still got to get up. I still got to work. And surely, my body was deteriorating. And on that day, I remember I couldn't sleep. I couldn't lay on my back. I couldn't lay on my side. Everywhere I laid, I felt like I was having an asthma attack, actually. And I remember talking to a friend of mine. I was talking to Tim. What's up, Tim, if you're watching? I was talking to Tim, and I was like, man, Carol, man, I said, I feel like I'm having an asthma attack. I haven't had an asthma attack, and I know a good 10, 15 years. And I remember he took me to the store. I got like some generic asthma medicine. And it kind of helped a little bit, but once I tried to lay back down, it was the same problem over and over again. I could not breathe. I could not catch my breath. I remember sitting up on the side of the bed. I sat at the foot of the bed. I had to sit at the foot of the bed. I leaned my head back. And that's the only way I can get like an hour or 2 of sleep. And with it being the summertime, of course, my son was with me, and he didn't have school. And I remember I just woke up that morning and he was up. And I said, son, I'm going to work. I said, but after I leave work, I'm going to the hospital. Because I said, I know something's wrong. And he kept saying, "Daddy, what you think it is?" And I said, "Man, I don't know." I said, "But something's wrong because I can't lay down. I don't have any appetite." I said, and I can't hardly even make urine right now. I said, I feel like I'm just backed up. I'm just built up for some reason. So I got him squared away, foolishly went to work, and got through work. I worked from 6 to 6. And at the time I was doing security, I was just sitting in the office, not doing much, but I shouldn't have went. I should have went straight to the hospital that night. But get to the hospital and made it into I had to walk into the emergency room, and the nurse looked at me and she knew something was wrong because I couldn't even talk to tell her what was wrong. Couldn't tell her my name. I went to St. Thomas, Midtown. And she took started triaging me and whatnot. And I never forget, my blood pressure was like 240, 250 over 180. It was just like ridiculous. And she took it 3 times. She's like, that can't be right. That can't be right. Then she took it manually twice, and it was correct. And then they immediately started checking to see if I had, signs of a stroke. I wasn't slurring my speech, but they was like testing my strength. They was, squeezing my fingers, trying to see if I still had feeling and stuff in both sides of my body, which I did. It was a miracle I didn't have a stroke. But then that's when I really knew something was wrong because they immediately took me to X-ray my chest, my stomach, and then they took me. They didn't have any rooms available, so they kind of put me in like a storage room. It wasn't. There was a bed in there and like a bunch of supplies and like a curtain. It wasn't a room at all. And I knew then. I was like, "Ooh, this is not good. If it's this critical." And they hurry up and got IVs in me and started running meds in me, and they didn't tell me at the time. They told my friend. She later told me that I literally had. It was a good thing that I came when I did because I was literally minutes away from death. I would have drowned in my own fluids because my heart had become enlarged and was pumping. They couldn't pump the blood through my body correctly because my blood pressure was so hard. Everything was just running in overdrive, just trying to keep me alive. And my lungs had filled up full of fluid. The fluid couldn't go anywhere, basically. They call it fluid overload or whatever it is. And they said I had about that much, maybe a little bit more lung space, which everything else was just full of fluid. That's why I couldn't breathe, at least not laying down. And they put me on these really, really heavy Lasix. And I remember I was in ICU, and you had to be in ICU to be prescribed these type of meds. And I remember just filling up little urinal jugs. God bless that nurse that night, because I know she was tired of bringing me urinals, but I was just literally just peeing around the clock. And I was in ICU for a couple of days. They still didn't tell me exactly what was wrong. They just told me I had congestive heart failure due to my high blood pressure and fluid overload. And then they got me down to the regular room once I became a little bit more stable. And that's when the doctor came in and kind of gave me a quick synopsis saying, Mr. Jones, because of the fluid overload and your congestive heart failure, you suffered what we call a non-STEMI heart attack, which means that although I didn't have like the shoulder pain, chest pains, nothing like that, traditional heart attack, my body still had produced the proteins that come along when there's heart damage, and they call that a heart attack. So he told me, that's what happened. My heart had sustained some damage, and it was enlarged, and that, but they did believe that it would heal and everything would be okay as far as that's concerned. And then he told me that I had kidney damage. And I said, okay. So I'm still thinking, okay, well, if my heart can be fixed, invasive. I mean, when I didn't have to have any surgery, no stents, nothing like that, thank God. But I'm like, is my kidneys going to heal on its own? And that's when he was like, well, we're going to have you talk to a nephrologist. Never heard of that before. And the nephrologist came in, and a nice guy. I forgot his name. But he came in, and I think his name is Dr. Tolbert. He comes in and says, "Yeah, Mr. Jones, you've got some kidney damage, and when they release you from the hospital, I need you to come to my office right away." And I knew then that something I probably wouldn't be the same again. Um, it's kind of hard to describe that feeling when you know something is really wrong and it can't be fixed. It's kind of a scary, scary place. And I got through the hospital, got everything fine. They had drained when I finished. When I left the hospital, I think I had like 50 to 60 pounds of fluid off of me. So, I mean, my clothes was falling off of me, literally. And got home, got situated, got my son together, go to the kidney doctor, and his nurse stops me at the door and she says, "Oh, here, we got something for you." And she gives me a packet, and it's got all these numbers and uh, terms I've never heard before. I'm very familiar with you now, talking about GFR and your BUN and your creatinine levels. And like I said, it was like speaking a foreign language. I didn't understand any of it at the time. But then I get to the bottom half, and it says that I had stage 4 kidney failure. Well, stage 4 kidney disease. And I just remember just sitting in that chair, and I just stared at the paper, and I just kept reading it over and over and over again that I had stage 4 kidney disease. And I was very familiar with the term ESRD, end stage renal disease, and all that from working in the health insurance field. Uh, I noticed, it's a critical thing. And went to the doctor. He asked me did I get the paper, and I told him. He asked me did I understand what that meant, and I told him, basically I was at stage 4, which is stage before end stage. And he says that's correct. Your kidneys are operating at about 16% right now. He's like, but I don't want you to think it's all gloom and doom. There's this company I want you to work with. They're fully funded through grants, so it doesn't cost you anything, and they can kind of help you kind of manage this, because if you manage it right, you can walk around like this, and for another year, 2, 3, there's no timetable on when we have to start dialysis. He's like, it's pretty much like a feeling of, yeah, it's time. You tell me that's how you feel, and I'll tell you, yeah, it's time to start. He's like, but I want you to try these people first. So I went to the people, really, really nice people. They gave me a game plan. Met with a nutritionist. I had to change my whole diet. So much things I had to give up to try to preserve what kidney function I had left. And it worked for 3 years. I stayed stable for 3 years, just dieting and, trying to stay in shape. And then January of 2018, I got really, really sick. I was with my granddad at the time in Ohio, and I got really, really sick. Not near death sick like I was before, but it was really bad. Like I was itching really bad in my legs. It felt like something was crawling on me and biting me. I later found out that's because my phosphorus was so high that it felt like something was chewing on me. And I was having really, really bad stomach cramps. I felt like I was going in labor, honestly. And they got me stable. They, drew blood and everything. They told me they was going to at least keep me overnight. And then this Indian man walks in, says he's Dr. Such and Such, and says, yeah, you about to start dialysis right now. And I remember looking at him and, excuse my language, I said, man, what the fuck you talking about? And he said, Mr. Jones, you need to start dialysis right now. And I said, man, I just went to see my doctor in October before I came up here. He said I was stable. I mean, you don't know what you're talking about. He said, okay. He said, well, I'll tell you what, call your doctor in Nashville, tell him what I said, see what he says. So I didn't know they had already talked to the folks in Nashville and stuff. So I called my doctor. I said, man, this man talking about I need to start dialysis today. He said, well, if he told you that, then you probably need to start. And I hung up on him. I'm angry, confused. I think I even made a post saying I wish my mother was there because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I sat there for a minute. The nurse came in. I said, ma'am, could you tell that doctor to come back in? She said, he's been standing here waiting on you. He comes in, and I said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And excuse me. I want to say this too. A lot of my fear of that dialysis machine, it was because of the secondhand information I was receiving. To be honest, I was receiving information from people who really weren't taking care of themselves like they should have. They weren't eating right. They weren't taking their meds like they're supposed to. Hell, they weren't even getting treatment like they were supposed to. And as a result, that's why they were having so many problems on dialysis. So I went in naive. I went in scared. I went in just a full gamut of emotions. And they put a needle in my neck, right here in the vein, and rung in the machine and attached me to the machine. And I remember I just laid there and cried. I just cried because I thought it was it. Basically, I had maybe another year or two. I mean, that's just being real. I thought about my kids. I didn't know what to tell them. Didn't know what to tell their mom. Didn't know what to tell my sisters. All I knew was I'm hooked up to a machine now, and this is my new way of life. And it was traumatizing. And I went through 3 days in a row of doing dialysis. I had to do it back to back to back to back so they can bring my phosphorus. And I had so many toxins and stuff in my blood. My creatinine level was through the roof. So they had to do that to clean me up and get me to feeling halfway right. And my granddaddy came every day, and I was telling him this is like my third or fourth day in a row, and he's like, "Man, that's a lot." And I said, apparently, I was in really bad shape for a minute, and make this long story short, fast forwarded. Then when I left that hospital, of course, I had to start going to a clinic. Started going to the DeVita clinic. Shout out to them on Wynn Road. They took very good care of me. That same Indian doctor became my nephrologist at the moment. And even though he was a pain in the ass, sort of like Dr. Now on my 600-pound life, he always kept it real, and he was very supportive. I will say that. He kept telling me, you're going to be fine. I know you're scared, but you're going to be okay. Just keep doing what you're supposed to do. And the treatments in first weren't they? I mean, it was kind of hard on my body. Then your body kind of adjusts. The main part about it was just sitting in the chair for 4 hours with nothing to do. And then I realized, it was better just to stay awake all night, go to treatment, and then go to sleep in the chair. And that's really the only way I can make it, because you're sitting there for 4 hours and you literally cannot move. And then they do what they call they do a procedure called, grafting. They'll graft the artery to your vein, and it makes the vein really, really big so that you can draw blood and push it back in at the same time at a very high volume. And mine is right here. I don't know if y'all can see it. You see that bump in my wrist? Hold on. See that bump sticking out? That's the artery pumping into the vein, which is right here, this whole area. And so of course, I did dialysis for 2 years. Even when I moved back home, I had a very, very excellent staff taking care of me. Shout out to you, Miss T. I love you, Miss T. Miss Jennifer, uh, Shelly, and Miss Summer. I love all you, especially Miss T. Miss T. Miss T. If you watch this, I know Miss T she was like a mother to us, and at least to me, and she would give me motherly love, tough love, because it would be days I didn't want to do it. I mean, I just literally just felt like I didn't want to do it, didn't want to stand in the chair. I didn't feel like being bothered. I didn't feel like getting those big ass needles put in my arm. I didn't want to stay the whole treatment. And the machines are very, very sensitive. If you move, if you cough, if you do anything, the machine alarms and the process starts. You got to start all over again. It's just a big ass headache. And Miss T she would keep telling me, "No, Jonesy, you can't come out the chair. Boy, you're not getting up out of the chair. Boy, sit your ass down and shut up and quit pouting because you're gonna get a kidney this." She kept telling me, "You're gonna get a kidney this year. I'm telling you, you're gonna get a kidney." I kept looking, "All right, Miss T, if they give me one, they give me one." And but I got to the point that I was getting tired of it. I was hating it. I was hating the cramps. It's the stuff people don't tell you. When you have the worst cramps you've ever had in your life. Once the machine gets to sucking, it sucks indiscriminately, meaning it takes protein out your body. It takes the phosphorus out. It takes every piece of extra fluid in your body. You're basically walking around dehydrated. And it sucks everything out. And literally the worst cramps you could ever imagine in your life. You can see your muscles literally just tense up in your legs and you can't stand up. And everything in your body is telling you stand up and walk it off. But like the nurse would tell me, Miss Summer would tell me, if you stand up, you're going to pass out. And you get tired of that. You get tired of your blood pressure dropping too low. And that's a horrible feeling because you're halfway between completely passing out, completely going unconscious, but you're still conscious. You can't open your eyes. You hear ringing in your ears. You feel like your body is shutting down, and there's nothing you can do about it until they give you more fluids to raise your levels back up. I mean, it was just, I've seen people die in a dialysis chair. There was one day a man died right behind me in the dialysis chair. And I remember his family coming in, and I had to say goodbye. He's still hooked up to the damn machine. Well, I mean, he wasn't hooked up to it, but he was laying in the chair right beside it. And I was like, oh my God, is this my future? You know, is this what's in store for me? Am I gonna die in this damn chair? And then of course the chair is not made for somebody 6'8". So it was very uncomfortable. It was miserable. The needles hurt like hell going in. They hurt like hell going out. Sometimes every now and again you get infiltrated. That means the needle will go straight through the vein and it's pumping blood into your open cells in your arm. So my arm would be swollen, it'd be bruised, it'd be purple, it'd be sore for almost a month. But that's what you go through, and that's what I was willing to do to keep having some semblance of life for my family, for my kids, obviously. I didn't really think I would get a kidney that fast because they tell you going in, it's going to be a year and a half. You know, expect to wait at least a year and a half. And I've been doing this for 2 years, and in between there, I had a cousin die, and my uncle passed. They both were doing dialysis, hemodialysis rather. And so I had that natural fear of, well, I guess I'm next. And I started making preparations like I was next. I started to look into funeral costs, looking into cremation costs, writing my funeral out because my kids were minors. Trying to figure out, who would take care of my son, who would how to how to how the service would go. Things that you don't normally think about. I was trying to figure this out at 38 years old. And so long story short, I got on the list in November of 2019, and and like I said, I didn't. I went. You know, you go through the process. It's a huge, massive undertaking. You get a lot of you go through a process where they take hell feel like they took a pound of blood out of you. They run blood tests on you. They run a stress test to you through you, and hell, that was horrible. I thought they were just gonna put me on a treadmill, but they give you like this medicine that speeds your heart rate up, and hell, it felt like you're gonna die then. And then they bring you back down. It's ridiculous. And they have to they test you like that to make sure that one, your body can handle the surgery, and number two, they got to make sure all they have what they call markers, and you got to make sure all your markers meet up so that your transplant will take and you won't have rejection. They want to make sure they limit all of the normal causes for the kidney to reject. They want to get that out of the way first and then make sure you're set up for success. Also, they want to make sure they look and see, are you missing treatments? Are you getting off the chair early? The same things that Miss T was on me about, to stay in that chair, even though I didn't want to keep coming every day. They want to see that because they want to see the consistency that this person is serious about their life. They're not going to just take this kidney and go out here and party and bullshit. They're actually going to, do everything in their power to take care of their kidney, because a lot of people need kidneys. So it's very, very high commodity. So they want to make sure that when you get the call, you're going to do right by it. So fast forward to the call. This was, of course, May last year. I went to treatment that Friday. Everything was fine. I went to work that Friday night. I was preparing to go to work that Saturday night. At the time, I was working overnight, sitting at a MDHA housing center, trying to just sitting there overnight, make sure nobody gets in, nothing like that. And I looked to get the call. It's like 10:30. I got to get up and go be at work at 12. I get the call at 10:30. And sure enough, pops up St. Thomas Medical. And I knew then what the call was. I automatically knew. And I just stood there and I looked at the phone, and tears welled up in my eyes. Picked up the phone. Hello? Yes, Mr. Jones, this is St. Thomas Kidney Transplant Clinic. We wanted to tell you, we got good news. We got a transplant for you. Can you get to the hospital? And I said, yeah, I just need to call out from work. I said, I could be there. And she said, okay. She said, now, the kidney it comes with some risk factors, so we're going to have a doctor call you. I'm going to hang up. The doctor's going to call you right back and tell you what those risk factors are, and then you can decide whether you want it or not. I said, okay. So the doctor calls me. As soon as she hangs up, he calls and says, hey, I just took the kidney out the guy. It's healthy. I think it'll be a good match for you. I just have to tell you it's high risk because the guy went to jail, but it doesn't have any hepatitis. It doesn't have any, drugs, no alcohol, no disease, nothing like that. But we do have to tell you because he was in the jail. And I was like, hell, doctor, I've been to jail, worked in the jail. So, hell, let's go with it. And he said, okay, well, the nurse will call you back and tell you what you need to do, and we'll get it in there. And I'm like, okay. And I remember I called my godmother. I called Val, and I said, Val, they called me. They got a kidney for me. I'm like, they saying it's this, that, and the other. She said, boy, you better go and take that kidney, go on in there. And I said, yes, ma'am, I'm going to go now. So I packed up, and because you got to go. When they give you the call, you got to go right then and there because time is of the essence. They don't want their kidney sitting in ice too long without blood supply. So got to the hospital, called off work, got my son situated. He was old enough to stay by himself. I knew I was going to be in there for a couple of days. So I made sure he had money to order something to eat. He didn't have school at the time. And I trusted he would do okay. And and I still had people in place that he could call in case he needed something. And got to the hospital. Gave me that damn COVID test. That's probably the worst part of the damn situation. Having that damn cotton swab stuck all the way up into my brain stem. But that was oof. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. And they got me all situated. I had to, I remember sitting in the bed thinking, oh my God, this is it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I pinched myself 3 or 4 times. I'm like, man, I can't believe this is it. And, of course, they still testing. They took more blood. They doing, taking pictures, making sure I had room in my abdomen and all that stuff. And I remember I made a live video telling everybody what was going on. And they make you shower and you have to like scrub. They give you like give you a whole bottle of body wash. And you have to use the whole bottle, literally. Use the whole bottle in a shower, and you got to use a different rag. Every time you pour some more stuff in your rag, you throw the rag down, pick up a new one. So basically I had to use like 12, 13 rags, and you scrubbing until your skin is burning down there. You can't dry off. You got to because the soap is still active. It's still working on you. So you pretty much got to let it dry into your skin. It was nuts. Anyway, I remember laying there. They getting ready. They put me in a little prep room. I remember laying there. I remember I only told my Aunt Sugar this, but I remember just laying in the bed. I took my glasses off. I didn't have contacts at the time. I looked up, and I can see. I saw my mother sitting on to the left of me. I saw my grandmother at the foot of the bed. I saw my Aunt Pam. And they was just all holding hands around the bed. And I knew then I was going to be okay. And, excuse me. Excuse me. I know it's going to be all right. And we got through the surgery. I remember Tia texted me, asked me was I okay, and I told her I was back. And I remember, God, I remember having the worst pains ever in my stomach, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in pain. They kept, they wake you up, and they said, Mr. Jones, you back? You back? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just hurting, hell. And they started laughing, and they pumped me up full of meds and for pain meds, and got through that process. Finally came home. My son, thank God for him. He helped me. He helped change my dressing. I had to put this girdle thing on to kind of squeeze everything together because I had so much swelling, and they wanted to squeeze as much juice out as possible. And it was very uncomfortable because, I had this big ass drainage tube, and this big ass bandage, and I had to wear this thing. I mean, the girdle actually helped. It helped me get out of bed because it was holding everything together and squeezing my muscles together. And it helped me so I can get out of bed because it was really hard getting out of bed. And I remember I just get up. When I could get up, I would just sit in the chair, and, Tamir would come in and check on me. And, it was quite an experience. And so that's pretty much how it started. The middle part, the ending. To this day, like I said, it's been a year now. It was a year past this last weekend. So it's been a year and a week now. I'm doing really good. Doctor said everything's stable. My numbers are good. They haven't changed my meds the last couple months, which is really good, which means everything's working like it's supposed to. I do have to take medication for the rest of my life to keep my body from rejecting it. I have to do some kind of exercises every day because I'm on steroids, and that prednisone makes you swell up. I hate that damn medicine. It also makes you very moody. And So sometimes I do have a shorter fuse taking them meds. At least that's what I'm gonna blame it on. Uh, and yeah, doing good. I've been working as much as I want. You know, I live a pretty much normal life, other than having to take meds twice a day. I do what I want to do, and you know, I try to pay attention to my body as much as possible. Some days I have more fluid on me than I would like, especially if I'm standing a lot. Like my legs are a little swollen today because I had to work uh, more hours than normal. I was on my feet more. I didn't get to rest, and that's another thing I'm starting to learn to appreciate is giving your body rest. I know sometimes uh, as parents and is that really just as adults, the lives we have to live now, uh, you're constantly, you know, trying to do, you're constantly trying to get up and do more. You know, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do laundry, you got to take the kids somewhere, you got to do this, you got to cook, you got to just busy life. But you also have to realize your body has to have rest. You know, the body's not made to work constantly over and over and over again. It does have to rest. And that's one thing that I've learned to really take advantage of is listen to my body when it's telling me, hey, I'm tired. I listen, I give it rest. I try to stay off my feet as much as possible because I am so tall. It does take a little bit longer. You know, my blood circulates different than a normal person, so that's why I have some accumulation in my legs. But it's starting to go down because I stayed off my feet most of the day. Uh, but the most of the part, I mean, the biggest thing I hope people can take out of this, other than me getting ugly and trying to cry, uh, is that you know, you do have to take care of yourself, and there were warning signs. There were several warning signs that I didn't pay attention to. They say, you know, high blood pressure is a silent killer, but it really wasn't all that silent. I can tell my heart rate was always high. I was, you know, always hot. I had, you know, couldn't sleep good. There was different things there, and I just ignored them because I was, you know, so caught up in routine and doing the same things every day, and just out here trying to make it. And you know, that's why I say health is wealth. If you're not healthy, you can't help anybody. If you can't help yourself, you can't help anybody. If you can't get out of bed, you can't go out here and provide. So, you know, you have to do what you have to do sometimes. And then sometimes that means you have to sit down. Sometimes that means you have to give yourself a break, you know, and we all do that. You know, we're not machines, we're humans. Uh, you know, so, you know, eat correctly. Uh, you know, as Black people, we don't always eat the healthiest. But you know, I'm starting to grasp that concept that you do need to eat healthier. We do have to get our greens into us, even if you don't like eating them. I mean, I juice mine a lot. I mean, you know, it doesn't taste the best, but I know it's good for me. I can feel the difference when when I don't have that in me. So you know, listen to your body, get your checks, get your blood work drawn, especially the people that's in my age bracket. I mean, we up in our 40s now. You know, we not little spring chickens no more. You know, we're getting closer to the midlife, and you know, you really have to take care of that stuff. Watch your sugar, you know, your blood pressure. You know, drink plenty of water. You know, just the basics that we get told, but we just sometimes ignore because you know we want stuff to taste good. We want it to be full, and hell, I'm no different. There's still those still things that I still have to battle every day. But you know, coming from where I come from, Sister Patterson, I see her in the house. Uh, uh, Markia, uh, I know she's got a kidney transplant. You know, when you come from that dialysis chair and you get that life changing kidney, you don't want to go. You don't never want to go back to that chair. You don't never want to go back to that place where you need that machine to keep you alive. And you know, I thank God that we got through this. I thank God for the gift of the kidney. I wish I knew who the young man was that donated. And that's something else I wanted to put into this. If you're not an organ donor, please seriously consider being an organ donor because hell, it saved me. Uh, you know, I'm sure it's about somebody else, got some other body parts of this young man. It saved them. Your body can produce other life. You can keep life continuing, and I'm overly grateful for that. Because I know I'm light years. I didn't know. I tell people this all the time when they ask me what's the difference between dialysis and now. I didn't know how sick I really was or how bad I was off until I got the transplant. Meaning I didn't know how tired I was. I didn't know, um, how the lack of just overall energy I had. Uh, just different things. Like I said, when you're on dialysis, you're literally walking around dehydrated. They only let you drink 32 ounces. That's less than 2 water bottles of water a day. That's all you can have, 32 ounces. And if you go over that, you're gonna have some problems in the chair. I'm I'm guilty of that. I don't know about anybody else. Oh, did I freeze up? It's really frozen.